Dear students, welcome to this lecture on strategic management, and the topic for today, as you can see, is tools of strategic analysis. And in today's lecture we will be talking about two tools. One is the BCG matrix and the other is the Ansoff grid. Now before this topic you have already studied and you have already understood, I believe, the concept of strategic choice and strategic analysis. Now, and before that, in the earlier units you have understood that how an organization screens its environment, how it defines its strategic intent, then how it formulates the strategy, and we have discussed several strategies which an organization can use for its expansion or growth. Now, when an organization is faced with such a large choice of strategies, right? Now, how does it analyze those strategies, and how as a manager, suppose a manager is aware of so many strategies, right? We had discussed, expansion through concentration, diversification, integration, then digitalization, internationalization. So, there are so many strategies, and besides these also there are other strategies also. So, how does a manager decide which strategy to use where? So, it becomes a question of strategic choice, and then you have to analyze and then pick which strategy you have to use. So, there are certain techniques, there are certain tools, there are certain methods which guide us, which help a manager in making the right kind of analysis and then picking the right type of strategy, right. So, the BCG matrix, the full form is Boston Consulting Group matrix, is also known as the growth share matrix. It is a corporate planning tool because we are making strategies here. So, it is a part of planning. So, it is a corporate planning tool, and when we are using the word corporate because it is for the whole organization. Now, when we are using a strategy, then it will cover the a greater part of the organization, it can cover the entire organization also, and which provides a strategy for analyzing products, brands, businesses, and suggests further investment strategies. So, this is a tool which helps manager to decide in which businesses or in which products or in which brands it should invest more money, and in which businesses or brands it should withdraw money or it should maintain a stable position. So, it classifies business portfolio into 4 categories. So, this grid or this matrix, it divides all the businesses, whatever products, whatever brands, whatever businesses an organization is having, it will divide all those into 4 categories. For the convenience, for the ease of managers, it will divide them into 4 categories. And on what basis will it divide? The first basis is industry attractiveness. The industry in which that business, that product is, on that basis it will divide. So, like for example, the growth rate of that industry has to be taken into consideration when we are looking at the attractiveness of the industry. So, there are certain industries like what is an industry. So, there can be an FMCG, there can be retail, there can be entertainment, there can be industrial goods, so automobiles. So, industry attractiveness means that how fast or how slow that industry is growing. So, this is not done, or it has nothing to do specifically with your business only. It is concerning the entire industry as such. Whatever units are there in that particular industry, in that particular sector, whether they belong to you, whether they belong to your competitor, whether they belong to X, Y, Z companies, all of them are equally affected, or for them, all of them, this factor remains the same for all. And the second factor on which it will evaluate is competitive position or the relative market share. So, there is a ranking on the basis of which we say, okay, this company has the greatest market share, this has the second largest market share, and so on and so forth. So, there are two things, one related to the industry in which that product or that company or that brand is operating, and the second is specifically related to that product, business or brand, where it stands in comparison to the competitor. So, I hope I am making it clear that one is a very generalistic, this is a very generalistic perspective, and this is a very specific perspective. So, this is the diagram for the BCG matrix, and you can see that there are, as I said, it classifies or it divides business into 4 specific categories, and on the x axis we take the relative market share, and you can just note the direction of the arrow also here, and the other part is the market growth, right. So, this is related to the specific our own specific company or product, and this is related to the industry as such, it is related to the market as such. So, there are 4, you can see, quadrants or 4 categories into which products or brands or businesses can be placed. First is star, second is question mark, third is cash cow, and the fourth is dog. Right. Now, we will take a look at what these mean and how they help a manager to decide the strategies. Now, you can see that what star, in the case of star, the relative market share is high. This will be high because the arrow is going from right to left, and this will be low, and here this will be high, this will be this will be high and this will be low, right. So, in case of star, both things are high. In question mark, market share is low, but the industry is growing at a very high rate. In cash cow, the market share is very high, but the rate of growth of the industry is not very attractive, and in case of dogs, both are low. So, we will take a closer look at all these. First, we take dogs. Now, in the earlier slide, we saw that dogs are characterized by low market share and low market growth also. The industry attractiveness is also low and the market share is also low. So, it is very obvious, you know, why the word has been used dog, that you not very happy with the business. You know, dogs, the word, though dogs are very faithful and loyal, but generally, you know, when you want to abuse somebody or you want to use bad words over somebody, or if you want to kick somebody, then you use the word dog, right. So, in that perspective, here also dog's word has been used for business, for products who are not performing very well, because both things are low here, right. So, these are also known as pets. These are products with low growth and low market share. So, that was obvious from the matrix also. So, the in terms of competition within the market also, your product is very low, and in terms of the market itself, the growth rate of the market is also not very attractive. Now, because not much of activity takes place here, so they neither earn nor consume large amounts of cash, right. Then dogs can turn out to be cash traps. Cash traps means they can tie up companies' funds for long periods of time without giving any results. If we place lot of energy, lot of emphasis on the dogs, what will happen? We will keep on trying to invest funds into them. We will keep on trying to infuse life into them, thinking that probably they will move ahead in competition. But as such, it has been seen that whatever amount of cash you put into the dogs, they become cash traps. All cash is gone away, it is wasted, it is trapped inside these companies, and it is a wrong decision actually. So, what should be done with them? They should either be liquidated or repositioned. Liquidated, I am sure you must be knowing that, you know, that the business can sell all its assets, and you know, if there are any claimants, there are any debtors, that cash which has been acquired from selling off the assets of the company should be given away to all the claimants and all the debtors, and or it should be repositioned. The product should be you have studied in marketing segmentation, targeting, positioning. So, probably because the low market share is because of the wrong positioning of the product in the market. So, if you feel that by positioning, by improving the positioning of the product you can do something, then repositioning can also be a strategy here. Then the second is the cash cows. Now, you can see first of all it is cow. So, what is a cow? Cow is something or an animal which gives us lot of benefits, right. It is low maintenance kind of an organism. You do not have to spend much on it. It feeds itself on grass, very simple stuff, and it gives you lot of returns, right. So, low maintenance but lot of return. So, here you can see that in case of cash cows the market share is high, and but the problem is that the market growth rate is low. So, they are the most profitable brands and should be milked to provide as much cash as possible. So, you should take out as milked, you feed the cow fodder, not because basically you want to feed it, but because you know that whatever good amount of fodder you are going to give it, it will convert itself into milk, and you are going to get good quality, good quantity of milk out of that. So, similarly in case of such businesses, maximum cash, maximum revenues should be tried to be extracted, because they are the market leaders almost, because the market share is very high. Then the cash, whatever cash you are deriving from milking these cash cows, where should it be used? It should be invested into stars to support their further growth. Now, stars at this point of time we do not know much about them, but if you recall the matrix which we saw in the earlier slide, first slide, you know that star are businesses which have lot of potential. They are generating they are generating cash also, and their market growth rate is also high. So, all that cash which comes from cash cows, it should be given to stars. But the point of caution is that managers, strategists should not invest into cash cows to induce growth, but only to support them so that they can maintain their current market share. So, that is very important. If you feel that lot of revenue are earning from these cash cows, and if I try to feed them more, will they give more milk? No. After a point, whatever you feed them, either they will not eat it or they will fall sick. They will not generate more milk. So, similarly here also the strategists have to take care that they should not put too much of investment. They are already doing well, and because why not too much of investment? Because the market has already reached its saturation. So, market growth rate is low. So, when market is not growing, number of customers are not growing, why to invest so much of cash when your product is already on the higher levels of the market? And what are the strategic choices here? The strategic choices are product development, diversification and divestiture. Product development, we will talk about this a little later, but we have discussed this earlier when we were discussing the corporate strategies of expansion also. Product development means that you add new features into the product, so that whatever customers are existing in the market more and more prefer your product, because you have added new features into the product. You can go for diversification. With the cash cows, you can use them to enter new businesses, and you can also divest. Gradually you can reduce your parts or reduce your shares in this business. You can sell off the shares which you have in this business. So, this is about cash cows. The third is stars, and you can see that stars are businesses with high market share and high market growth. Now, these are businesses or business units or products that have the best market share and generate the most cash, right. So, they are generating the maximum amount of cash, but then why do we call the other businesses as cash cows, which are which we discussed earlier than this. But the reason is that they consume also a large amount of cash. Stars consume a large amount of cash. In cash cows, they were not consuming cash. In fact, we said that managers should not invest much of money in these cash cows, because that won't lead much of result. In stars, what is happening, because the market share is high, so they are giving you a lot of cash, right. They are market leaders in their industry, but because the market growth rate is also high, the market is growing at a very high rate. So, as a result of that, what is happening? As a result of that, there is lot of R&D going on, there is lot of production at a very high pace is going on, lot of aggressive marketing is going on. As a result of that, lot of cash is being consumed by these stars. So, they are kind of a self-fulfilling cycle, wherein they generate lot of cash and they are also consumers of large amount of cash. So, the maximum cash which is available, disposable cash, is coming through cash cows. They are, so we can say that they are both cash generators and cash users. Then if a star can remain a market leader, it eventually becomes a cash cow when the market's overall growth rate declines. So, when a business, it becomes a star, then after some time it becomes a cash cow. It can become a cash cow, because when what will happen, when this will go down from high to low, market growth will go down, then what will happen, that it will become a cash cow instead of star, because once the market growth rate declines, then there will not be so much of hectic activity involved in the market. So, you will not be requiring that much of funds to be invested into this business. And what are the strategic choices available to a manager here? The strategic choices available are vertical integration. Vertical integration, in a supply chain, if you are a manufacturer, either you start producing the raw material also, or you move down to the distribution, to the retailing part of it. Then horizontal integration. Horizontal integration means that you can go for mergers and acquisitions with similar type of businesses. Then you can go for market penetration. What is market penetration? That it is a very important, very famous marketing strategy, that you try to get into the market, and whatever price you have to offer, you can reduce the price to that level, but you have to get into the market. Then market development, you can move to new markets with stars. And product development, you can add additional features in your product and make it more the customers can be further attracted to your product. Then next is question marks. Question marks, as the name suggests, not very clear. Why? Because the market share is also low, but market growth rate is high. Our product is not doing well, but the industry, the market has lot of potential. It is still a growing market. So, they consume a lot of cash, because business feels that this product can do well because the market is doing well. So, lot of money is being infused into this, pumped into this business, right. So, they consume a lot of cash. They prove to be tricky ones. Now, the marketer has to decide what has to be done with these products, whether you should put them on hold, or with lot of hope you should move forward with them. Then they have the potential to gain market share and become a star, which would later become a cash cow. So, it could go in both ways. It can become a dud, it can be a very poor performer, or it can move to the other route where it will become a star, and then it can later become a cash cow, which generally stars would become. Then even after large amount of investments, if they struggle to gain market share and eventually become dogs. So, if they are not able to gain market share, then if they do not become stars, what will they become? They will become dogs. So, that is why a question mark is used as a sign for them, because they can move either ways. And strategic choices are again market penetration, try to enter into the market, whatever price you want to offer, try to develop new markets, try to develop new products, new features, or divestiture, try to reduce your share in the business. So, this is how BCG matrix looks like. These are the cash cows. You can see this is the cash flow with bold arrows. From cash cows it is moving to question mark, cash cows, money is being pumped to stars also, right. And this is the broken lines, broken arrows, dotted arrows show the desired movement, that a business which is a star should become a cash cow in the near future, and dogs need to be moved out of the business. Then the second is the Ansoff matrix. Ansoff matrix is also known as the product market expansion grid. Many of the strategies in this we have discussed, and it also allows manager, say like BCG matrix, it allows managers to plan their strategies. Now again here also there are 4 strategies which a manager can use on the basis of the risks involved. So, let us take a look at the diagram we have. So, on the x axis we have taken risk, and risk from here it is low to high, and here the risk is this side, it is increasing risk. So, the risk is high here and it is low this side, right. So, this is how this strategy works, and there are existing products, new markets, existing markets. So, on the basis of this we get 4 strategies. Now, we look at these 4 strategies. Market penetration, we have discussed earlier also market penetration, the focus is on increasing sales, increasing market share, and it can be executed in a number of ways: decreasing prices to attract new customers, increasing promotion and distribution efforts, and acquiring a competitor in the same marketplace. So, for example, if we talk about Jio, when Jio entered in the market, it tried to acquire as many customers as possible, and for that it offered its SIMs, services, calls, everything FOC, everything was free of cost. So, that is an example of market penetration. Then product development. Product development, that is, it introduces new products in existing. You do not, the customers are the same, but you introduce new products, or at least the products with new features. So, there is a lot of focus on obviously R&D. R&D पे बहुत focus होता है, and it increases the company's product range. Now, it is used when companies have a strong understanding of their current market and are able to provide innovative solutions to meet the needs of the existing market. It can be implemented in a number of ways: investing in R&D to develop new products to cater to existing market, acquiring a competitor's product and merging resources to create a new product and better meet the needs of the existing market, and forming strategic partnerships with other firms to gain access to each partner's distribution channels or brands. So, these are the 3 different strategies which can be employed for product development. Now, for example, a company like Apple will come under the ambit of product development, because it is too much into R&D, and it always believes in outdoing the competition in terms of adding new features to the innovative features to the products. Then the third is market development. Now, market development is that with the same product we enter into new markets, into new markets which we have not explored before. So, expanding into new markets may mean expanding. When we talk about expanding into new markets, it can be from one city to another, one country to another, geographic, or it can be from customer segments. That from one customer segment we move to another customer segment, etc. So, for example, Starbucks, you know what it is. So, it is a retail outlet for coffee and related items, snacks, and etc. And Starbucks, when it realized that many of the customers would not be able to come to their store because they do not have time, or they do not have they do not want to spend that much. It brought out instant coffee packs also. And what happened as a result of that? It could cater to a totally different market, right. So, it may involve market development, may involve catering to a different customer segment, entering into a new domestic market, that is you are expanding domestically, and entering into a foreign market wherein you are trying to expand internationally. So, this is how market development goes about, and there have been companies have moved ahead and they have increased their market share on the basis of this strategy only. So, from one market, one segment, they have moved to different other segments in the market. And the last strategy in Ansoff matrix is diversification, and we have studied this strategy in detail in corporate strategies. And what is happening here, the product is also new, and the market also can be new here. So, at least we are moving into new products in this. It may offer the greatest potential for increased revenue, as it opens up an entirely new revenue stream for the company. Totally different business you are moving into. So, there is a new source of revenue for the company. Now, there are two types of diversification which can be used by a company. First is related diversification, again which we have discussed, that is the firm moves into a business which is related to it, somehow related. It is not exactly the same, but it is somehow related to its existing business. So, Colgate from toothpaste moves on to toothbrushes. So, that is a diversification, but it is a related diversification, because at least the need which it is catering to is almost the same, that is to the hygiene of the teeth, and the distribution channels which need to be employed are also almost the same. Yes, of course, the technology used for production will be different, but at least in some parts it is the same. And the second is of course unrelated diversification, wherein a company moves to a product which is totally unrelated to it, and there are, as you can see, there are no potential synergies. There are potential, the one product can benefit from the other product. Here there are no potential synergies, neither distribution channel, neither in terms of supplier, neither in terms of the manufacturing process, neither in terms of the customer, nothing is same. So, you cannot benefit from each other's presence. And for example, company like ITC, right? ITC is into IT sector, it is into FMCG, it is into stationery, paper boards, it is into the hotel segment, all of them totally unrelated, all of them catering to different types of customers, all of them using different types of distribution channels, all of them using different types of suppliers, manufacturing processes, R&D, etc. So, that is an unrelated diversification, right. So, with this we will finish, and I will just take a look at the diagram again, and you can just see what strategies we had discussed just now, right. So, I hope you have understood the strategies which we had discussed, and understood the BCG and Ansoff matrix. Thank you.